Good morning, students. Welcome to the class on organometallic chemistry. Today we will discuss alkene metathesis using Grubbs catalyst. Grubbs was the first to develop alkene metathesis. It was developed by Hoveda. For this discovery, Richard R. Schrock, Robert H. Grubbs, and Wes Chauvin, they won the 1990 Chemistry Nobel Prize. So you understand the importance of this chemistry. What is alkene metathesis? In simple words, alkene metathesis is nothing but exchange of partners. When we add an alkene AB to alkene CD, we will have new alkenes with exchange of partners. That means one alkene is between A and C, other alkene is between B and D. So in simple, what we can say, it is exchange of partners. So when we treat alkene metathesis catalyst with the two alkenes will undergo exchange of partners. I will give you some alkene metathesis catalyst. This is the important part of alkene metathesis catalyst. This carbon, it is metal carbene, which is important for alkene metathesis. This is phosphorus cyclohexane. So tricyclohexyl phosphine, two such phosphine ligands, two chlorines and a carbene and ruthenium. It is called Grubbs' first generation catalyst. This is the initial catalyst generated, developed for the alkene metathesis. So there is a problem with this catalyst. It is moisture sensitive. If moisture is there, then reaction will not work. So it is called, generally it is named as transition metal alkylidene complex, or in short we can say it is metal carbene. So a ruthenium complex, mostly we use transition metals such as ruthenium, molybdenum for alkene metathesis. This complex is called Grubbs' first generation catalyst. It is moisture sensitive because of the presence of two phosphorus ligands. In the second generation catalyst, it was little modified. In the second generation catalyst, one phosphine ligand was there, but another second phosphine ligand is replaced with second phosphine is ligand with this bulky group. Because of the decreased content of phosphorus, it is not moisture sensitive. This is called Grubbs second generation catalyst, and it is thermally stable. It is thermally stable up to 90 degrees centigrade. So this is most advanced compared to first generation catalyst. Later it was further modified by Hoveda. So this is Hoveda catalyst, which is phosphine free. We don't have any phosphine ligand here, so it is even more stable and it is more advanced. Here we do not have any nitrogen. This is also carbon. This is also carbon. So this is even more stable than Grubbs catalyst. So all these Grubbs first generation, second generation and Hoveda catalysts, they are based on ruthenium metals. There were many improvements on ruthenium catalyst. So we don't need to know all those modifications. Now I will give you Schrock catalyst. Schrock catalyst is a molybdenum catalyst. This is Schrock catalyst developed in 1990. So basically these are the four catalysts used for alkene metathesis. As I said, there were many modifications to ruthenium based catalysts. Now we will see a simple reaction. What is when these two alkenes are treated with a metathesis catalyst, they will undergo alkene coupling to get this product. Now we will look at the mechanism how this metathesis is occurring. In the catalyst, we have a carbene, so that is metal carbon double bond. When we add an alkene, it will undergo a 2 plus 2 cycloaddition like this. It is called metallocycle. Then again it will undergo a 2 plus 2 cycloreversion in such a way that now the metal is transferred to the alkene. So this double bond, it is expelled, and now we have a metal which is bonded to alkene. Then again it will generate a 2 plus 2 product when we add another alkene. Then again it will undergo a 2 plus 2 cycloreversion in such a way that now the metal will be expelled and we will have this product. So basically it is a 2 plus 2 cycloaddition between metal and alkene. So that will generate the metal alkene intermediate. Then this will undergo then 2 plus 2 cycloaddition and cycloreversion with another alkene, so that we will have a coupling between two alkenes. Now we will see RCM. What is RCM? Ring closing metathesis. Ring closing metathesis. What is ring closing metathesis? If the two alkenes are part of the same molecule, that means if the two alkenes are in the same molecule, then when we use Grubbs catalyst, it will undergo cyclization it will undergo cyclization. So this is what is called ring closing metathesis. When we form a ring, it is called ring closing metathesis. Now we do have other organic methods where we can generate cyclic compounds. But what is the importance of Grubbs catalyst or alkene metathesis? You know, generally we can prepare 3 to 6 membered rings in normal organic chemistry reactions, but here it is little difficult. With the Grubbs catalyst, it is difficult. But the medium sized, these are small sized rings, but the medium sized 7 to 9 membered rings, they are difficult to form under normal organic conditions. But the medium sized rings are large rings, that means rings having size number of carbons more than 9 also, they are easy to prepare here. So that means we can easily access the large sized rings using metathesis reaction. So that is the importance of metathesis. Now I will give you some practice problems. Generally, we don't need to use stoichiometric amounts of the catalyst. Catalyst is very costly. So what we can do, since it is a cyclic process, we can use 1 millimole to 10 millimole percent, so that we can use very little amount of the catalyst. So catalyst will involve in repeated cycles, so we don't need to add stoichiometric amounts. This is the product. So these two carbons, the internal carbons, will undergo coupling. So this is for palladium catalyst H2 comma. Palladium catalyst is for double bond reduction. Lithium aluminum hydride reduction is for reduction of amide to amine. Generally, these Grubbs metathesis reactions are performed in a dichloromethane solvent. Sometimes we can also use toluene or mixture of solvents like dichloromethane and toluene. Now, after the reaction, the catalyst will be active. Then how do we purify the reaction mixture? It's a simple. When we know that reaction is completed, we need to add DMSO, and we will stir it for 12 hours, so the DMSO will quench the catalyst. Then after that, we will simply filter it through a silite bed or silica gel, because ruthenium is a very poisonous metal. It should not be present in the purified compound, even in the trace amounts also. So we need to completely eliminate ruthenium in the purification process. So generally what we will do, when the reaction is completed, we will add DMSO, we will allow to stir it for 12 hours. During that time, complex will be decomposed. Then we will filter it through a silite bed or a silica gel column. So that is mostly enough for purification. The most important factor about alkene metathesis is the ease of generation in the large sized rings, which are otherwise not possible through normal organic reactions. So I'll give you one such example. So it will undergo aldol condensation. The two OH groups, yeah, first we will reduce the double bond. the carbonyl as well as double bond both were reduced. The two OH groups can be allylated. When we treat this with sodium hydride, hydride will pick up the proton, so it becomes oxide ion, phenoxide ion. Then when we add allyl bromide, both oxygen rings both oxygen rings will be allylated. Now we have intramolecular alkenes. Then we can go for alkene metathesis, first generation, DCM, dichloromethane, reflux. Dichloromethane is a low boiling solvent. So when we mention reflux, we don't need to heat it. DCM, because it is low boiling liquid, it will reflux at 30 degrees centigrade itself. So these two will undergo alkene coupling metathesis so that they will generate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13 membered rings. So that means with alkene metathesis, we can generate large sized rings very easily. So that is the advantage with the alkene metathesis reactions. So this is a very large ring which is otherwise not possible through normal organic reactions. We have just seen ring closing metathesis RCM. Now we will see ROM, ring opening metathesis. Ring opening metathesis is also possible when we have alkene as part of a strained ring. In this case, it is a four-membered ring which is having alkene. So it is a strained ring which contains an alkene. In this case, we can go for alkene ring opening metathesis. So this was one such modification of Grubbs catalyst. Because this four-membered ring is strained ring, ruthenium metal carbene will first add to this alkene so that it will open this ring. One side it will undergo coupling. It will open this. It will open like this. Okay. One side it will undergo cross coupling with this alkene. Other side it will be like this. So this is what is called ring opening metathesis. Ring opening metathesis is possible when alkene is part of a strained ring. So here also ring opening metathesis is possible. This is a bicyclic system. So here also ring opening metathesis is possible, and we are using another alkene. So it will undergo cross coupling. cross coupling. One of the alkene will undergo cross coupling with this alkene. A little extension to this ring opening metathesis is ring opening polymerization. Ring opening polymerization. Ring opening metathesis polymerization. Ring opening metathesis polymerization. In this example, we have seen that two alkenes are generated. If this undergoes coupling between another such molecule like this, so it will generate a polymer. Right? If this undergoes coupling with this, we have one more monomer. Here also we have a double bond. So this can also involve in coupling with one more molecule. So in that fashion, it can form a polymer chain. So that is why it is called ring opening metathesis polymerization. Now we will see cross metathesis. That means generally in Grubbs metathesis reactions, intermolecular metathesis between same molecules will generally occur. So that means dimerization. But at the same time, it is also possible to have cross metathesis. That means metathesis between two different alkenes. In order to get a cross metathesis reaction, what we need to have is we need to have an electron releasing substituent, and which is a bulky in one alkene, and in other alkene we must have an electron withdrawing substituent. Of course, Grubbs catalyst, which is based on transition metal, so it is an electropositive compound. Obviously it will first react with the alkene which is having electron releasing substituent. You write the product. So Grubbs catalyst first react with this alkene because it is having an electron releasing substituent and it is a bulky group. So because of its spherical crowding, it may not undergo coupling with the same molecule. So obviously it will undergo coupling with another alkene. This is what is called cross metathesis. That means coupling between two different alkenes. Now we will see enine metathesis. What is enine metathesis? A coupling between an alkene and a triple bond to generate a diene is called enine metathesis. So in this case, we are generating a diene which is a good substrate for Diels-Alder reactions, right? This is what is called enine metathesis. I'll give you mechanism, then we can easily predict how it is generating. You see, this alkene, it is undergoing cyclization, whereas alkyne is this one. Generally, ruthenium metal will first react with alkene. So it generates this reactive intermediate. Then it will undergo cyclization between these two, metal alkene and alkyne, so that it generates this one. This four-membered ring will now undergo 2 plus 2 cycloreversion. So this alkene is coupled with alkyne to generate this cyclic system, and at the same time the triple bond is extended and it is having a double bond with metal. Now this will further convert it to alkene. So this is what is called enine metathesis. When we write the products, we can easily predict this alkene. There will be a coupling between the internal carbons of triple bond and double bond. So it will generate this ring, and at the same time this triple bond will be extended like this. There will be a coupling between internal carbons of triple bond and double bond to generate this cyclic system, and this triple bond will be extended like this. So we can easily predict the product in enine metathesis reactions. Not only intramolecular, we can also do enine metathesis in intermolecular fashion. So when we do, this carbon and this carbon will undergo coupling. I'll write like this. This carbon and this carbon will undergo coupling. And we have this silyl group, PMS. Then we are extending this triple bond, right? Yes. This carbon and this carbon, they will undergo coupling. Then this triple bond will be extended. I'll give the product you practice how this E9 metathesis followed by ring closing metathesis is generating this product. So first it will undergo E9 metathesis, then it will undergo ring closing metathesis to generate this product. So you practice how it is generated. Now we will see alkyne metathesis. That means coupling between two triple bonds. These two triple bonds will undergo coupling. Here we are using DCM and toluene solvent mixture. So these two will undergo coupling. Generally, this alkyne metathesis, alkyne coupling is possible with internal triple bonds. So that is why I'm writing it this methyl group, right? This is also methyl group. This alkyne metathesis is little tricky with terminal triple bonds. So that is why generally this alkyne metathesis is done with internal triple bonds. Sorry, there is no double bond. Here there is no double bond, only single bond. Please take that correction. When we treat three triple bonds under metathesis conditions, these three triple bonds will undergo cyclization to generate an aromatic system. This is one triple bond, this is second triple bond, this is third triple bond. In this case, it is giving two different products. It is in the ratio of 6:1. The triple bond may be first triple bond, second triple bond, and third triple bond. You can recognize this. This is the first, second, and third triple bond. So these will undergo cyclization to give an aromatic compound. So not only alkene metathesis, we can also have alkyne metathesis. At the same time, if we have three triple bonds, they will undergo cyclization to generate an aromatic system. Now we will see a little similar catalyst. This is zirconium catalyst. Cp is cyclopentadiene. When this is treated with this dialkyne is treated with zirconium catalyst, it will undergo cyclization. This is the first triple bond, this is the second triple bond. It will undergo cyclization, and when it is treated with iodine, pH, iodine, pH, iodine. This bond, metal is electropositive, carbon is electronegative compared to metal. So we will have partial negative charge here, partial positive charge here. So this carbon acts as a nucleophile. So when we add iodine, it will attack an iodine. So it will undergo carbon iodine bond formation reaction. I'll give you one more example to better understand the reactivity of carbon zirconium bond. This will zirconium complex will undergo addition to the double bond. One side hydrogen will be added, other side zirconium will be added. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So one side hydrogen will add, other side zirconium will add. Now zirconium is a bulky metal and we have two cyclopentadienyl rings. So it is a sterically crowded catalyst. It is not stable when it is present on internal carbons. Then immediately what happens? It takes the hydrogen from neighboring carbon and then again it generates a rearranged double bond. It generates a rearranged double bond. Zirconium complex will be leaving. Again it will add to this. Zirconium will add here, hydrogen will add here. Again it is unstable because zirconium is added to internal carbon. Again it will decompose to generate alkene, terminal alkene. Then zirconium will add to this terminal alkene to generate this complex. So that means we can add zirconium complex to an alkene wherever the double bond may be, but it will undergo rearrangements. Finally, the product is zirconium added to the terminal carbon. The final product is zirconium added to the terminal carbon. Now we will see how this zirconium complex can be explored further. As I said, zirconium metal is electropositive, so this carbon will be negatively charged. So this carbon acts as a nucleophile, like in the case of Grignard reagents or organocopper reagents or organolithium reagents. So when we add iodine, this will undergo iodination. When we add carbon monoxide followed by chlorine, it will undergo carbon monoxide and then chlorine, acid chloride. When we add carbon dioxide followed by water or dilute acid, it will generate a carboxylic acid, COOH. So the zirconium complex will act in a similar fashion to organo-grignard or organo-copper or organo-zinc reagents,